I'm going to make a reverse engineering process on DesignX Plus. So first here, I'm going to import the STL file, which is that one. So I can modify every single option here if I want to, and then I'll load it. So first thing I can see here is that the model is not aligned to the main coordinate system. If I switch to different views, I can definitely see it's not aligned. So I will start to align the part. In order to do that, I will try to extract some regions. So to do that, I just go to region and I will use the tool which is called Smart Selection here, and I will create a selection at the bottom to select some polygons and insert. I will do maybe the same on that one, that side, insert, maybe for later on, and maybe on that cylinder and insert. So just to get the cylinder, I don't need to get the full, every single polygons here and insert. Insert. So I got those three regions that I can use now, and then I will now try to align that part. So to align that part, I may use here that area. If I display those areas as type of geometry and use a line, you can see that this is defined or recognized as a plane. This is recognized as a cone, so I don't really care about that one, but this is recognized as a cylinder. So to align, I can intersect that cylinder to that plane to make my origin, and then that plane as Z direction. I need something to lock the rotation there. So I got different method, maybe symmetrical planes, but here on the part I can see some holes. So I will make a here on a mesh sketch, and maybe move this sketch a little bit higher just to get the two holes. So if I don't get the holes, I can increase here the silhouette, and I press OK. I switch my screen with Alt space, and now I got three circles right here. I will get my circle here, my circle there, and my circle there by double clicking. Those circles will help me to create a line. So I can select all those entities and transform them as construct geometry, and make a line for construction from that point, to that center, to that center. And then a last one without for construction. I will go from the midpoint. So you move the mouse and you get the midpoint. Then I will touch again that line to get the perpendicularity and to go to the center of the circle. So here, usually that line should be perpendicular to that line. So I can make the constraint if I want to, but that should work for it. And exit. So now I can display back my mesh and go to the Home tab. On the Home tab, the basic workflow is to go from left to right. So I import the file, then I modify the mesh if I want to. I can modify or create regions, create some entities if I want to, and then make the alignment. So here I will launch the alignment of what entity of the mesh, and next. XYZ, I will tell the software the position, so you do it on the right order. I will first select the plane and then here the cylinder, and the software automatically intersect the cylinder axis with the plane and create the origin. Now I will define my Z-axis as that one, and I want to have the Z pointing up, so I will flip it. Finally, I want to get my X-axis as a Y-axis, sorry, as the line I defined on the sketch here. And now you can see that everything is grayed out here, which means everything is locked. I can press OK. If I go on the top view, which is Alt 1, you can see that the part is well aligned. If I go to the side view, Alt 3 or Alt 5, I can see that this part is well aligned. You can also see that these sketches didn't follow, so I will get rid of that sketch right now. I don't really need it. It was just for alignment. And I can start now defining my alignment. You can see here that I got a cylinder and then I got a plane. As I'm going to make parametric creation, I would prefer to have something which is nice, with nice values. I don't want to have 2.35 or as angle. So I can check here quickly the angle between that plane and that axis of of the cylinder, and I got 45 dot something. I don't like that. I want to have 45 degrees. It's a parameter you could get. So now I got that. I can either press OK to keep that measurement or cancel. And I will create a plane which is 45 degrees rotation around that axis. But to do that, I maybe need to create here a vector from that plane to that plane. It's going to be, I made a mistake on that one, to that plane and that plane. So that is going to be the x-axis. So you see it here. Well, I made it. So that plane here and that plane. So you can see the axis and OK. I may also create that axis y-axis, so I can create at the same time the vector between here and there. Like that, I will have that axis for later on operation. And I can rename those vectors. So that first one, click slowly, and it's going to be x-axis. And the second one is going to be y-axis. Okay, so let's continue with that. I will now create a plane which is tilted by 45 degrees. So let's create now a plane. I'm going to use that axis of x and control that plane here over there. Automatically, the software switch to rotation. One plane. I can create now my file, and I can start with that shape, which is a standard shape. I will make a sketch here on the part and move it up just to get the global shape of that part. If you want, you can ask for silhouette, but I don't want to get that outside, so I will move it up. Okay, to get the cylinder here. And okay. From that point of view, I will create here, based on that center, a center rectangle. So center rectangle, I will go from that origin and I will move it up like here. Then I will just need to touch the outside here and get it like that. So I don't need to get a bigger one. I just need to have a rectangle which is big enough, and exit. That rectangle, I will extrude it in this direction up to 125, for instance, and on the other side, I will make it a little bit bigger. So I want to go, yeah, maybe over here, just to go over this area, and okay. Now this is done, so I can maybe create the definition over here. So let's go to that view. Okay, and work with that shape. So I will start with this shape you got here, and I will need to create a plane which is based here. So let's create a plane. I will create from that area an offset plane. So I will go just to offset and define a value that fits this area. So I can either do that or make a mesh fit, maybe 35 or 36. Okay. If you don't want to do that, I can make a fit. So which is going to be, instead of that, extract, instead of offset, extract, get the automatic extraction here, and ask the software to constrain my axis based on that plane. That's going to be easier to do that. All right, now let's make a sketch based on that plane. I will put the mouse here on that plane and right mouse click, mesh sketch, and get the information over there. So I will get the information higher enough and avoid this area and press OK. Now I got here a nice circle. The circle should be centered to the main axis, and I will get the circle here, put it right roughly here, and OK, now I will get the dimension And again, I want to get not the radius, but the diameter. I want to get a nice entity, so I will get here a 35 millimeters diameter. And okay. Then from here, I will extract this line, which is my axis I created before, and I will get or create a line around that area. So just to be sure, I will just display my part, and I want to make something which is bigger than that part. So let's make that one, wait for the cold line here and close it. Okay, so what you can do here, you could trim that line and remove that. It's not really necessary because I have a profile here, a close profile, so I don't need to do that. So exit, right mouse click here and extrude my part. So I want to extrude this profile and display my solid body up to there and cut it. What you can see, it makes a little hole inside, so you can always come back to that area and make it bigger because my rectangle was too big and exit. So like that, you just trim it with the extrude. Then we're going to continue with that, and I will now need to hide that right now and make the shape around, so around the whole part. So I will hide that and make another sketch on that right plane, mesh sketch, and this time I will add the software to get the silhouette around it. So I include all the parts, so I get all the silhouette, and okay. So from that, I can easily define my line. So double click here, double click there, double click here. And each time I can double click. If I want to get more of that, I can modify it manually or remove that and go from here to there if you want to do it manually. Then double click if you want to go faster, double click there and there and there. Okay. So always look at the part. I don't need to do that right now. So I will stop there. And maybe I want to trim the bottom here. So I will just hide the solid body. And maybe I will create a line from here to their vertical just to get the shape. Now it's up to you if either you want to work with solids or you want to use surface and solids. I want to use only solids here, so I will just trim my part and corner trim easily. You just click and hold here, there, over here, over there, and so on. Or you can just click on OK on the max distance, so the software automatically extends it for you. I don't want to touch that line right now, so it's done already. And I will just extend it a little bit, so take it and move it away. And also, I want to trim those two lines together. If I display my solid body, okay, I can see those curves. I'm going to continue with that and maybe exit the trim and exit the sketch. So now I got here my solid body and I got a sketch curves. So I will ask the software to trim the curve. So I go to model and cut. I'm using that sketch as a cut entity, and the tool body, target body is going to be that one. Next, and I tell the software I want to keep that. And okay, everything is trimmed up. If I look now at the parts, it's well defined and I can continue on the creation of that. Now I will trim the model on the side here. So I will just need to make the mesh sketch again here and make a silhouette extraction again to get just this opening there. And okay. Now I will just display quickly my solid body and extract to convert that edge just to get the same one. And then I can hide this solid body. And I will continue with this model by just making a line. So I want to make that line parallel to that one. So I will not fit polyline and click one point here, touch that line and make a parallel line. Do the same here, touch that line and make a perpendicular line, and then make a one here and touch that one to be parallel. Then here I can just trim that. So gonna trim and select every single curves just to get a nice rectangle and exit. From that, I will just extrude, display my solid body and extrude it mid-plane just to cut the model. So I not needed to make too big, so maybe 60 millimeters should be enough, and cut. And okay. So now you get nice opening here, and I can continue the part by just making maybe this area. So this area, if I look there, it's a fillet that goes from here, touching this area and ending over there. It's going to be the same on this area, so let's do those both areas. Let's go to model and make a full face fillet, what we call a full face fillet here. So left is going to be that face, center that one, and the right side is going to be over here. And okay, let's make the same thing over here. So left or right, center and left, and make a tritangent fillet. I cannot do that here because if I do it here, it's going to be really awful. So instead of doing that, I will leave there and I will use sketches. So from that plane here, I want to make another plane parallel to that one over here. So I will just press Control, click and move the plane to have an offset plane of that one. And I will just make a mesh sketch, get down and make a silhouette just to get the overall shape of that. So to get the circle, and okay. Now, if I display here my previous sketch, so not that one, but that one, I can get that circle. So I will just convert that circle and that line from that sketch to the other one. So I will get exactly the same dimension, and I can hide that sketch. I can go back, and on here, what I would like to do is trim this area because I got already that area on the other side. So I will just create a line and close that shape to include that. So make a complete square. I got two different bodies. It doesn't matter again. I can now right mouse click on this sketch, extrude in solid, that shape, Alt space to display my solid body, and ask the software to go up to a surface, which is going to be that one. So it's extruding up till it reached that area, and I cut the model. So you can see now it's a nice shape we got there. Let's continue with that shape, and let's maybe get to the base plane. So the base plane here, it's going to be quite easy. Right mouse click on that plane and mesh sketch. I will just extract a little thickness of a silhouette of 8 millimeters, and okay. Alt space to switch the screen, and here I'm not going to make the corners over here. I will make fillet at the end. So I will just ask the software to make a line. So I double click on the line. Then I will ask the software to make a tangent arc from here to there. Right now I don't really care about the position, but here I will double click. I will make an arc again, and I will double click on that arc. Okay. I will maybe lock that line right now and ask for deviation. Deviation will just check the distance between that one and that one and get the accuracy. So here I will increase the multiplier, and I will also lock the endpoint just to not to move it right now, and I will magnet it. So I will remove the locking position on both, and you can see that the accuracy, if I increase the multiplier, is very good. I'm within here few microns on that part. So if I go here, I've got 20 microns here, 18 microns, and so on. Now, to continue, I will just ask the software to get back that line. I want to get the continuity here, so I will just convert that entity from the model to the sketch and hide the sketches, hide the X's, and increase the size. I don't need to make it real, so I can make right mouse click and convert to constructive entity. And then here I will just create a fillet from here by zooming to there, and I just make sure that it's accurate enough. Of course, here it gives me, oh, I forgot about the radius, but it gives me radius. Anyway, I can display or not the dimension. So here the dimension is there, and I can round the values to 3.7 millimeters. And also, I want to be sure that this sketch can be fully constrained. So first of all, here I got those two curves which are not going to the midplane. So I will just extend that line or that arc and that arc up to the midplane. And also I will make dimensions from that axis to that line to get the right angle. I can also round the value and always check. It's better to check the deviation because you don't want to have bad data. So again, here you have a big deviation. That's because of my extension. I will limit, I can limit that, but it's okay. And to finish with that part or that sketch, I will just make a circle right there. And of course, I can get the dimension and the radius and get everything I need to about that circle and round automatically the value. And at the end, I will just ask the software to mirror using that symmetry line. I will mirror all those curves and OK. Now it should be connected and it should make a solid body. So I will press exit. If you forget about something, you can always double click on the sketch and say, well, I forgot about that circle. So I double click on that circle. And on top of that, I want to have that circle on that edge and I make it coincident. So you can make constraints as you want. I exit and now I will right mouse click and extrude, display my sketch, and I will extrude it up to my region so I can select different things. But here the software will lock automatically the position to the height it finds. So here it finds a height. So if I increase the height, you see that it locked there. Or I can ask it to lock it until this area. So I can make it up to the region if I want to, up to the region, that region, and tell the software to make it mean distance. And here you have that, and I will merge my entities. So now if I switch the display, I got my base plane, I got that shape, and I got everything inside. Now I can just create different things. So I will right mouse click here and make a mesh sketch again on that, and I will go inside a little bit just to get the inner circle of space, and I will make a circle from here to there. I don't care about the diameter right now, and I will magnet it now here. Of course, I will make a dimension right there, and I can modify dimension or diameter or radius. And if it's okay, I can exit and right mouse click, extrude, and I will extrude in the other direction. And the method will be through all and cut. Again, when I do that, I don't need to have the body displayed. If I look at that, the software already extruded in this direction. Now I can also of space display the body, and here I got that body. This direction is in Z. So again, I will make an offset of that plane. So I put the mouse here, control and move it up. And I will ask the software to make a mesh sketch again. So I'll go to home and right mouse click mesh sketch. I will get done here. I want to have the circle. So I want maybe to get silhouette, and OK. So again, here I got the circle. OK. If I want to, I can create, as in CAD, a line that goes from that uh, datum to a vertical position, and tell the software that my center, double click on the center, control click on the axis, the information is concentric. Okay, and then smart dimension from here. Then you can exit the sketch. And again, as before, extrude in solid. And of course, display the model, reverse dimension, and through all. And of course, cut. And right. Not space, you can display your part. And then what you can see there is that it's not the right shape you get there. So if I look at the mesh, here it's just a standard opening with a full face fillet maybe there, so you can display that afterwards. So here you can see that there is a shape here, and so we can make an extrusion up to there. So of course, what I can do is go to region, maybe select as before this area, and I don't need to make the full selection and insert. Of course, if you go to the selection line, you should have a plane. Again, the plane is 3 points. Here I got well, almost 20,000 polygons, so it's way enough to get that. Now, I will maybe get that shape here to extract the right information. And then I will again go on that sketch. So again, you go to home, right mouse click, mesh sketch. I will go down to this area to get the line. Okay. And then from that, I will display my solid body, turn around and get and convert that circle. All right. Alt space, and then I will create here some lines. So a line from here to tangency, from here tangent. Then I will go to top view and ask those lines to be vertical, and that one to be vertical. Okay, and then I will maybe just connect those two lines together. So here and there, and trim those two lines. You can, if you want to, make a power trim here and there to remove those areas and exit. From that, I will just extrude that shape, and I will ask the software to go up to there. So you can, if you want to, just pull it, and then the software will tell you that is a real value. And don't forget, because it's in the middle of that shape, to go on the other side to the opposite direction and to make it bigger. So, and to cut. I can hide my planes, Alt space to display my part, and maybe after that create some fillets. So I can look at the part and maybe I want to create that fillet here. Maybe before I do the whole, like that, I will go through all the parts. So I can ask the software here to go back. So where was my cut here? Roll back. And again, a little bit before the first cut. So roll back again and right mouse click there, and I would make a fillet. I can always display the mesh, and you can see the shape. Here I can ask to estimate, but here it should be maybe 5 or 6. Yeah, 6 looks better. Okay, maybe I can also create the fillet on that one. So it should be more 3 millimeters over there. Maybe over there, not on the face, but on the edge. Okay, looks better. And then maybe on all the edges here. And okay. If I want to make that one here, it can be the same. So I can select that, look at the fillet, and again, make it bigger, 6 or 7 or 8. So you can increase here the fillet and check 8 millimeters. Okay. And now I got all my main fillet done. if I hide that, I can see I forgot that one. Right mouse click, well, it's there already, I'm already in the function. So I can just select the edge here, display again the mesh, and this should be 2 or 3. And okay. All right, so now I can go back to the end. So right mouse click, roll to end, and the software reproduce everything here on the part. Now, as at the beginning, I said I want to make that edge at the end, right mouse click here, fillet. I can always display that shape and ask the software to display my CAD in transparency here, and I can see now the fillet. I can estimate the fillet. The software will try to find a good value, so 7.6, maybe a little bit more, 7.8 or 8 millimeters. So the software always try to get a good value, but it's better when you have regions, so maybe a little bit more. 9 should be okay. And all right, let's do the same on the other side, because on the other side we did the same thing. We didn't create a nice transition. So here, and you see it's too much, so maybe 6. And okay. All right. Now if I switch my display and display the CAD in real CAD and hide my points, I can maybe display here and make a fillet there. So the fillet will turn around, but if it's possible, so if I make 2 millimeters, of course it can turn around all around the part. And here you have the final part where you can turn around and look at all this information and check maybe for accuracy, global accuracy of the part, and see if you have to modify something.